Hello, Internet, and welcome to VEDA Day 6, which is kind of cool because I think this might be the longest vlogging thing, whatever, that I've done consistently ever. I've also decided to try to get this up before 8 p.m. in the evening because the last couple of videos I've done, I've uploaded at 2 o'clock in the morning because, I run out of time in the daylight hours, but I've also noticed that those videos get, like, no views, which, totally understandable. I know a whole lot of you aren't on the internet at 2 o'clock in the morning like I am, but anyways, moving on. So it's been really cool to get the feedback that I have been doing these videos. A bunch of you have seen them. A couple of you have actually commented on them. I've met some people through them. It's really interesting so far, and I'm really happy that I've decided to do this. I admit that it is kind of hard to find things to talk about consistently. Like I've mentioned in past videos, it's like I'm wondering if the things that are going on in my head are actually things that you want to hear about. Because, I'm only supposed to talk about deep, mystical things, and my brain isn't like that all the time, so I'm struggling currently. Like I said, this is completely different from what I choose to struggle with, although it is technically something I choose to struggle with. But I'm struggling a little bit right now with balancing my social media presence with the work that I do for social media. I do some volunteering for a literary conference that this year is going to be in Texas. I've talked a little bit about before. There should be a link floating around my head somewhere right now for Lone Star Con, and you should definitely go check it out. Yeah, so I do that during the day, and by the time I'm done kind of keeping up with that, which is, super fun because I get to interact with some really nifty people, I'm kind of like worn out of like tweeting for myself and blogging for myself and hanging out on Facebook, because by that point I'm just like, screw it, man. Hate the world and everything that it has part of it. So that's kind of something that I've been up and down and thinking about. So do you have any comments about that? Do you struggle like with updating, like, having this presence that you're supposed to have, that you're supposed to have? I'm not talking about it necessarily in terms of like, there's social pressure. I'm talking about it in terms of maybe for those of you who have to have social media for a job, like a presence for a job, because that's starting to be a really big thing, especially in advertising and marketing. If you're not online, if you're not findable, if you're not searchable, who the hell are you? Why do I want to pay attention to you? Why should I give you any amount of my time? So that's something that I've been thinking about lately, and I don't really have any really coherent thoughts more than that. Nothing like, wrapped up nicely with a bow for you. Sorry, but it's been on my mind, so I'll probably talk about more about that later on in coming days. Also, I told you guys I would keep you up in the loop with the reading stuff, and I decided to quit the book that I was reading, Mary Magdalene, the beginning, because it was a terrible book. It was terrible. Like, I'm not gonna, post a link to it so you can go bash the author, but 2 chapters in, and this lady was still pretending to be Mary Magdalene, and as a teenager from Scotland, who was basically the whiniest character ever. It was basically just like, reading the thoughts of a teenager, but not well put together thoughts of a teenager. So I picked up another book, Anne McCaffrey's Pegasus in Flight. She's a grandmaster, just epic lady of science fiction, and unfortunately I've not actually ever read a lot of her work. I did read her corner work, and she when she was around was a very, very cool lady. I met her a couple of times when I was younger. She tells like the coolest nap time stories ever. You should know that as a thing. That happened. I feel like the luckiest person in the world to have heard those stories. Like, who gets to say that, when they were a kid, when they were younger, they got to hear these stories, like, nap time stories at conventions by Anne McCaffrey, because seriously, that's insane. But yeah, so I am digging into Pegasus in Flight. There's the nifty cover there, and let's see how many pages it is. 290, 300 pages, so I should probably have it done by the weekend, so I'll let you know how that goes. I've been kind of thinking about maybe doing like a separate channel, or maybe like as my VEDA stuff, like read-along posts, like Mark reads, except I wouldn't read you the book. I'd just like, tell you what's going on and what I think of it. But I'm not sure about that yet because there are, already a whole lot of like, blogging about read-throughs, so I'll think more about that. Anyways, that's all I've got for tonight. I've rambled for almost 5 minutes already, so you really don't need to hear any more. So I will see you tomorrow.